Most businesses don't lose customers because of bad marketing or sales. They lose them because of bad fulfillment. And that's why I just took an hour here with some coaching clients to talk about fulfillment. Because it's really not the sexy subject. We often want to talk as business owners about leads, marketing, and conversion, and that's important. Okay, basically, if you can create a lot of leads, this is the pipeline into your business, and then the bloodline is the conversions, the sales that are actually happening. But then, and you never think that you will have this problem until you have it and you realize, oh wow, we do have a big problem, and that is the problem of fulfillment. So somebody in the call said, I'm now afraid and not happy for a sale to come in, because I almost have a nightmare because I don't know how to fulfill. And each client basically is creating a problem because we have not designed the fulfillment piece of it. Okay, and so as business owners, if we really want to scale, this is where your business can really kind of break. You can break the trust of your people. So if you want to start managing business, your product fulfillment cannot be accidental. It must be designed. So you need to become the architect, like it. You are an architect of of the right funnel. If you have a good marketing funnel, you have designed it, and even the conversion and how you are basically taking people through a strategic sales process. Now the same has to take place for the fulfillment. So most founders obsess over marketing and sales. Few design what happens after the customer says yes, but that's a mistake. Basically, this is where referrals are born. If you have a great fulfillment, basically you will get referrals, and referrals are basically free marketing for you. You spend a lot of money on marketing and then on sales, depending on how you set up your sales team, commission-wise or salary-wise. Referrals, basically, they are warm leads. They are pre-qualified. They already borrowed the trust from an existing customer, and so you want to make sure you basically get them, and you only get them if you have good fulfillment. So this is where freedom is either created or destroyed. Okay, so I shared two mind shifts that need to happen if we want to really think of a good fulfillment system. Number one is think assembly line. Okay, this is what made Henry Ford, basically the great Henry Ford. The Model T was, the success of the Model T was because there was an assembly line. Okay, there were different steps that took place in an assembly line, and a team basically, or a person here was here and basically did this part, then it went to the next person and to the next person, and in the end you basically had a nice car. Now most of the people who are listening, most probably you are not creating something as complicated as a car, but you can put a car into an assembly line, and you get the finished product. So your fulfillment should be an assembly line. Order in, assemble, check quality, basically package, and then ship out. And then you basically can create playbooks, checklists for each piece, and make sure that there's a good handover from one to the other. So that's principle number one to keep in mind. And you don't create it perfectly, but if you create it, there's a big payoff. And mind shift number two is basically this one: get as close to zero marginal cost and productization as possible. Now, you will never get to it 100%, and that is also not the goal in most industries, unless you are maybe in software, then that is actually possible. But in terms of fulfillment, our end goal is what is known as zero marginal cost, which means that for every additional client, there is no additional cost to fulfill. Now, this would be the dream come true, that if a new client comes, you don't have more costs in actually fulfilling them. Now, that, again, for most businesses, and I think I mentioned it, this is most prevalent in software and most impossible in service-based businesses, but you can get close through productization and making sure you're getting this assembly line up. So the perfect service is not only what is best for the client, it's what typically gets you as close to zero marginal cost as possible, because that means a new client does not create so much cost that all of a sudden your margin shrinks and shrinks, and in the end you maybe have a lot of clients and you still go bankrupt because you basically have a cash flow problem, and you realize that new customers actually cost you money in the fulfillment process of that. So these are basically two processes that you want to keep in mind if you want to work on your fulfillment. Think assembly line and think, how can I get to zero marginal cost? You both will not get this right perfectly, but every step into that direction actually will help you in building a self-managing business, and that's what this channel is all about. And so you can check out more videos if you want, but to build a perfect fulfillment, don't just focus on sales and marketing. Fulfillment is key as well.